Hello, teachers. I hope everyone's okay. This is Unit 28, Identifying the Functions of Learners' Language. Now, a quick review of Unit 4. Yes, a function is a reason why we communicate. We have a purpose or function. Some examples are apologizing, inviting, interrupting, greeting, refusing, reporting, agreeing, thanking, and advising. Now, these are functions. The exponents are the language that we use for different functions. And well, of course, we have different exponents for a single function. And the context is the situation where we use such language. Now, how are the functions of students' language identified? Well, the purposes for which students use language in the classroom are known as functions. Again, they include participating in tasks, activities, asking questions from you, and interacting with each other. Some examples of this language are asking for clarification from you or from each other, okay? As well as checking information or understanding. We're going to go over a few more. Now, let's imagine, teachers, that we are giving a skills lesson. To be more specific, a receptive skill lesson in reading. We're giving a reading class. The first thing that we do is we arrive and we enter a noisy classroom and ask them to be quiet, and then we greet them. For example, we say hello, and then they reply. Then you quickly check through the homework with the class before collecting it. Now, can you imagine the possible language functions that your students will use? Well, of course, reading. They're going to say hi back to you. Apologizing, explaining, checking answers, accepting a correction, expressing doubt or surprise. Okay, and then we go to the next stage of the lesson. That's when you give out a reading text, a story. Okay, of course I'm skipping some details in the stages. Okay, you give them the text, the story, and then you give them instructions for the pre-reading discussion talk. The learners check the instructions with you, and then they do the task in pairs before class feedback. Okay, can you imagine what possible language functions they will use? Well, asking for clarification, suggesting, giving reasons, negotiating, checking, and repeating. Remember, they're using these functions with you, the teacher, as well with each other. Now, in the next stage, you give them the comprehension tasks. You give them the questions for the reading task, and they answer them individually, like these two boys right here. And then after that, they check their answers in pairs. Yes, and then that's before you, as a teacher, check them with them. Now, what possible language functions would they use? Well, negotiating, especially right here when they're working in pairs, confirming answers, agreeing or disagreeing, asking for opinion, providing information, acknowledging. This is showing that you have noticed. Okay, and then we go to the next stage. Okay, this is a way for us to assess. We ask them to retell the story in their own words. Yes, we check understanding of vocabulary at the same time, and we, the teachers, focus on pronunciation of new vocabulary. Now, during this stage of the lesson, they use this kind of language: retelling the story, obviously, summarizing, explaining, giving a definition, speculating. This is guessing, using information about the situation, repeating, and self-correcting in case of slips. Okay, and on the last stage of the lesson, we set a homework. We give them homework for the following day, and the lesson ends. Okay, and what language do they use? Well, they check instructions, asking for clarification, confirming information, and saying goodbye. Now, of course, we can imagine all the different exponents that they can use for these different functions. Now, let's go over some tips, teachers. Now, learners need a range of exponents so that they can interact appropriately with each other and with you, the teacher. Yes, and in most classrooms, learners will use exponents which are neutral in style. However, well, depending on the age of your students and their needs, okay, their learning needs. Well, you need to teach them in different uh, levels of formality. Okay, see, this is an example. The function and right here the language that they use, either formal or informal. The different exponents. Now, students can learn exponents as language chunks. You don't need to teach them the grammar of the utterance or the sentence. Okay. For example, right here you can have this on a way that is on a place that is visible for them, and you don't have to analyze the language. You don't have to tell them, well, this is a question word and this is a contraction with the verb be and blah blah blah. You don't need to. As chunks, these are focused on communication. Now, we need to encourage them. Okay, if we encourage learners to use these exponents regularly during lessons, they soon get used to it, and they use English as the medium of interaction and communication, and this way they can obey and they don't have to break rule number 1 of the classroom, which should be English only. Okay, another tip about using L1. You know, there are some teachers, some people that say that it's okay. I myself agree with the monolingual approach. Okay, which says that well, the target language ought to be in this the sole medium of communication. And I think it makes sense because we teach them how to even think in English. We immerse them in this English uh, environment, and we force them to learn. Okay. Also, exponents can be introduced to learners by teachers, by you modeling them as part of as part of your own classroom language. Yes, for example, if you tell them, do you agree, when you're listening their opinions, or what do you think? Okay, you're encouraging them to use this same language. Okay, and you can have these teachers on a place, like I said, you can have it on a poster sized um, um, chart and hang it like right next to the board or on a wall somewhere. And whenever they try to tell you something in Spanish, well, you can point it. See, this is how you say it. Okay. Now, let's go over the first and only task of this video. please pause this video so you can work on this task right here for questions 1 to 7. Okay, you have to read the conversation over here between two advanced learners and answer the questions about their use of language by choosing the correct option A, B, or C. Yes. Well, you can't see the number, but this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5. I don't know why it says 7. I'm sorry. Now pause the video, work on it, and you will find the answer keys in the next slide right here. Okay, now teachers, I know nowadays everybody's freaking out about the situation that we are all facing, but my advice to you is keep calm, take care of yourselves. If you are okay, you will be able to take care of your loved ones. Okay, and stay safe. I'll see you next time.